Hey, my name is PolishLynx and this is the irae. Let's continue after the talk with Reinhardt, basically, and... yeah, okay. I hadn't blacked out. I was simply frustrated and ashamed by what had just happened. He held the upper hand the entire time. I failed to make him feel the least bit threatened. And then I displayed open relief when that hell had concluded. It all made me want to curse in frustration. I shifted my gaze to the side and breathed a sigh. As barely as I did it, I fulfilled my primary goal. She sat next to me and tilted her head, all confused. Well, not surprised she's confused after all that. No? Huh. We both went through some extraordinary stuff, but I guess it was best to leave them behind us for now. There were countless more important things to do and think about. Yeah, I agree. Maybe. Reinhardt told me that there was no escape, but fighting that beast mano a mano was the peak of stupidity. From here onwards, I had to do something to prevent him from showing himself ever again. So I had to figure out what that something was as soon as possible.
Mari,
No, he didn't do anything. And thank you, Reinhardt. I greatly appreciate that. I helped her do that and started examining her from top to the bottom, looking for anything wrong. The fact that I was doing that with the mindset of a swordsman checking his blade for any nicks made me feel kinda bad, but I considered it priority to get a grasp on her state before we did anything else. After all, she had the appearance of a girl about my age, and eyeing her up from point-blank range was really damn discourteous, but, well, she wasn't the type of girl to mind it. Hell, if she did, even I would be too embarrassed to do this. And so, I think she was a little bit, you know, embarrassed. And so, with feelings of gratitude towards her obliviousness, I would have liked to unroll her sleeves and raise her skirt, but you know, what the hell, why was she looking at me like that? She put her hands on my chest and pushed me away, a clear statement that she didn't want me coming any closer.
No.
Her push wasn't very strong, but the surprise was so great that I staggered. I only wanted to check if she was really not injured. Huh? Embarrassed? This girl? This couldn't be right. Why would she? Where and how did she learn that word? Wait, since when did she even have feelings of bashfulness? As I stood there confused at the unexpected event, Mari looked around the area. Then with another serious expression I'd never seen on her, she spoke. Well, trying to get a grasp on the reasons for her change, she took the situation into her own hands and made me come after her as she strutted off. And so, with the eyes of a person standing before a heavy obstacle, she opened the gate I went through. Beyond which stood... surprised, huh? Haha. Valier Trifa, the priest that brought me here. Mary stood proud and glared at him as one would glare at an enemy. Well, not like there was any doubt he was an enemy, but he gave a slight chuckle and...
よくぞご無事で。話は聞こえていましたが、あのハイドリ秘境前に短歌を切るとは大したものだ。私に言われても嬉しくはないでしょうが、尊敬に値しますね。
ああ、別に。
I was going to give him a quick thanks for that, but then...
あなた誰？おかしい。
As better at reading the mood as ever, Mari broke into our exchange.
二人？うん。変な人。顔が違う。ねえ、あなた
はい、お嬢さん。トリファーと言いますが。
トリファ。体はどこ？
ほう。
Mari's words made me tilt my head in puzzlement. Father Trifa, on the other hand, narrowed his eyes with visible admiration.
それはですね、お嬢さん。これは内緒のお話ですが、本当の私はお城に囚われているのですよ。ですから勇敢なお姫様なり王子様なり、哀れな私を助けに来てくださると嬉しいのですが。なんでしたらあなた方がその役を買って出ていただけるのですか？
ええ、そうね。今からでもいいけど。
なるほど。これは。
I don't think she was serious there.
おい。
Their clearly meaningless exchange pissed me off to the point where I grabbed Mari's arm and pulled her away from him.
この子に関わるな。とにかくもう用は済んだろ。
ああ、そうですね。ハイドリ秘境から受けた命は、すでに私も果たしました。それとも...
He left off the rest of the sentence and his smile shot in the crescent moon. His eyes opened sharp and his irises, reminiscent of frozen legs, released a menacing glow. The priest implied he would be ready for battle here and now. Well, that was definitely an option. Braveheart wasn't anywhere close, and I had Mari with me again, so having to go at fighting Father Tripa wouldn't have been a bad idea at all. However...
いや、帰るよ。
I subdued my emotions, heaved a sigh, and chose to retreat for the time being.
そうですか。安心しました。ここであなたと構えれば、テレジアの身が気にかかる。
Yeah, whatever. Indeed, this was the church and she was somewhere in it, not to mention the possibility of Wilhelm, Rosalka, Sakurai being here too. If I inconsiderately went wild here, there was no telling what could happen to her.
私に信用などないでしょうが、一応、神に仕える者として約束しましょう。私はテレジアを害する気などありませんし、他の誰にもさせません。
And like anyone, well... No, I wouldn't believe you.
あんたの神ってのは、ラインハルトだろ。
仮にそうでも、あの方もまた、テレジアを害したりはしませんよ。
Eh? A few seconds passed as we glared at one another, and suddenly my emotions wavered. Even if I chose not to fight him now, I could still take him and run away from her. Sure, their home field advantage made the probability of success extremely questionable, but it meant rescuing her from this psychosis to be worth it.
ねえレン、聞いて。
As I considered the coarse affection Mary put on my sleeve.
この人、嘘は言ってないよ。
Eh? Really? Well, there was no denying that she displayed a lot of certainty, but Danny, what the hell happened to her? Crap, I couldn't help but feel uneasy about this. I had no clue what her change meant or where it would lead, so trusting her would be like a reckless gamble.
どうしてそう思う？
だって、この人の本物が私には見えるから。
Shit, I didn't get it at all. Father Shifa was Father Shifa, the very same nut job shaking his shoulders as he held back his laughter at fuck knows what. I had to make a decision. Mari looked at me with sincerity and honesty that was never there before. I know the reason for her change, but I felt that it was something to be glad about. The Mari I got from Mercurius was almost doll-like, in demeanor and knew neither will or nor woo, so always felt a bit uncomfortable about using her as a tool. Now for she was voicing opinions she herself formed and asked me to believe in her as partner, who was I to reject that, of course?
わかった。
I didn't trust Father Trifa at all, nor was I lowering my guard towards him. I had enough of his farces to last me a lifetime. Instead, I believe in Mari, not Father Trifa, but Mari, the girl at my side.
今日は帰る。外まで案内してほしい。
わかりました。ではこちらへ。
Oliver respectfully bowed his head and started to show us the way out.
言い忘れましたが、あなたの友人も死んではいない。心配しているでしょうから、早く帰って安心させてあげなさい。
友人？シロか。
So he was right, huh? Well, he wasn't there to worry about me, but that club was the only place I could attend right now, so we'd definitely meet up there. I'd made the correct choice, right? Humor was somewhat irreplaceable to me, but... Right next to me, Mari smiled and voiced aloud like it was her first time. That smile was one that I wanted to protect. Yeah!
ありがとう、レン。私嬉しい。
Those words healed me of the burning uncertainty within in my heart. And for the first time ever, I considered her charming. First? How? God damn it, what a retard. She's extremely charming from the very beginning.
さて。
After watching the refugee leave the church grounds, Trifa slowly turned around. He then spoke in a solemn tone, with no hint of parting grief.
お待たせしましたね。茶番は終わりです。ベイ、マレウス、レオンハルト、バビロン、そしてトバルカイン。
No one showed themselves, but there was no doubt that they were all listening. Thus the priest continued.
じき、夜が明ける。その時をもって本格的な開戦とします。もはややめぬし、邪魔も入れぬ。存分に狂い乱れるがよろしかろう。今現在、開いたスワスチカは2つ。
So he's already too many.
そのどちらも、ハイドリヒ教へ捧げる有資格者を書いている。第一は、キルヒアイゼン教。第二は、シュピーネ。この2つにおいて、黄金の恩恵は誰にも授けられることはない。だが、残り6つ。そして、我らもまた6人。まあ、無駄に欲をかかなければ、丸く収まるわけですが。ハイドリヒ教は血を望んでおられる。あのお方は、昔と何ら変わっていない。おのおの、その旨考慮して、彼の僧侶としての責務を果たしなさい。まずは5つ。
With the cheer of a bar chanting plan, Trifa continued.
すなわち、これより3つ、開くことを許可します。ただし、同日のうちに行うのは避けなさい。早い者勝ちですが、そこは守らねば、核の身が保たぬ。重複しても2つまで。虐殺よりも戦争を。汝ら皆に幸いあれ。ジークハイル。
ジークハイルビクトリア。
With the united cheer as the queue, they began to scatter. Seeing them up without even looking at them, Trifa lowered his voice, letting out a silent chuckle.
まったくこれは救いがなく、かつ面倒なことになってまいりましたよ。本当に。もはや是非もないですね。
Indeed, from now on, there would be no peace, with the grave mourning as its herald Suahara city was about to transform into a hellish warfield. Alright. Sacrament finished. Now we go to the next chapter. The 8th one, right? I didn't actually look which one was. I think it was 7. Sacrament was the 7th, right? Anyway, the surroundings welcomed their master with a fall into a deathly silence, leaving only the flutter of his mantle and the echo of his solemn march to dominate the soundscape. Polished to a mirror sheen and clean of even the tiniest speck of dust, the flooring was made of pristine marbles, or so it seemed. Full part of it lay beneath the scarlet carpet, presenting a path fit for royalty down the center of the space. Not a single seam was in sight. It brought to an observer's mind the notion that the entire was carved from a singular colossal rock and nothing more. Of course, that notion offended reason, for anyone with even the slightest hint of architectural knowledge understood that covering an area of at least 500 square meters with a single piece of material, thick or thin, was impossible from a transportation standpoint. Therefore, the next idea the observer would get was that the lack of visible seams was due to the masterful alignment of the marble patterns, for that was only under the assumption that the floor was indeed the marble it appeared to be.
お帰りなさいませ、ハイドリッヒョ。客人は仰せの通り、無事送り返してございます。
Kirheisen. No, not Kirheisen. What am I talking about?
ご苦労。
The fire girl. I don't remember the name. Anyway, this was his castle, the realm of his throne, the world he created for his own sake, an unearthly land untouched by the ordinary. Thus the very expectation of familiar building materials was a mistake. Indeed, to the standard eye, it was nothing but a castle, a magnificent, luxurious place. Yet for some reason it felt as dark as down as a catacomb. All hint of that which could be called life was thoroughly exterminated. Everything within was under a thick veil of stillness, silence, chill, and gloom. For all the magical majesty in the castle boasted, it was a far cry from a perfect view for its gaudy golden lord. If anything, it was more suited for his dearest friend.
ケイラも良い退屈しのぎになったであろう。事前演習の一環としては期待だが、客が客だ。緩んだタガを締め直す役には立つ。ことによればケイラ、身を保てずに離散するやもと思っていたがな。ご冗談を。
The kneeling woman with half of her face a war-torn wasteland wryly smiled and replied to her master.
確かにおっしゃる通り、脅威に値するとは思いましたが、しかし、
無茶と冗談総動員みたいな人なら、僕ら毎日見てるでしょ。
Her line was continued by a lean, one-eyed boy with silver hair. For he was unique as the one was the one of his voice, and his expression showed no hint of formality. By no means, however, did that mean he didn't respect his master. With his sheer smile like a wag of the tail and his unstrained words like a merry bark, he was the image of a puppy frolicking around its owner.
あれって何です？クラフトの女なんでしょ？はっきり言ってわけわかんないですね。
Because you are stupid.
それは彼女がという意味か？シュライバー。
はい、ハイドリヒョ。そうじゃありません。僕がわかんないのは彼の主義というか。
Replying with militaristic expression, the ashen boy, Wolfgang Schreiber, tilted his head to the side and searched his minimal vocabulary for words that would serve to describe his impressions.
あの子はよどみがない。真っ白です。それを月星として崇めたり、親切に泥の靴跡残したいっていうなら、まあ珍しくはないからわかるんですよ。
I have no idea what you mean, man. Because you are weird.
でもクラフトは自分じゃ何もしないじゃないですか。額に入れて飾るでも、触れるでもなく他人任せ。そそらない女への適当な扱いにしか見えませんよ。
Well, I guess about that he's correct.
もっと、こう、男性的征服欲ってやつですか？あと、所有欲とかそういうの。あって叱るべきじゃないんですかね。
Oh, there's no such a thing.
僕には理解できません。
No, no, no. You don't own a woman, okay? That's not how it works, Schreiber. No. No. His boy, everything but his master himself was a target for his slaughter, and he didn't even have a scale for feeling of attraction. The words he spoke were based on objective and prevailing perceptions. They were an outsider's look in the phenomenon of a male action towards attractive females. He said that he didn't understand it, but in actuality there wasn't a single thing he could understand. His impressions were better described as knowledge of phenomena or lack of it. The shape of Karlkraft's love just happened to be outside of Schreiber's foreknowledge, nothing more. Reinhardt was fully aware of his retainer's abnormality. The boy was equal to an insect with a human mind. Or better yet, a machine. One that was open to the installation of new programs. For feelings would stay alien to him, it was possible to get him to know what it was.
もう方、自然をめでる感覚に近いのだろうよ。
キャンパス
あるいは、エデンの園というやつかな。
Huh. Therefore, Reinhardt told him His human-looking human subordinate of his dear friend's values, or at least his own take on them.
そうした意味で男女の営みという概念ではないのさ。カールを人がましく見ようとする K の視点は面白いが、それは徒労だな、シュライバー。
つまりペット同士交配させて遊ぶってやつですか？でもそれって。ああ。
Schreiber struck his palm with his fist like he had reached some sort of conclusion. The crimson woman remained silent as she knit her brows. Richard went on in a whisper, smirking atop his throne.
意志は流れいずり天地創造。もって形をなし動き出す。思うに、つまりそういうことなのであろうよ。蛇は楽園を追われる。で、それはそうと一人足りんな。
The imperial guard that served the lord of this abnormal castle amounted to 3, and yet only 2 were present.
病気が出たか。
みたいですね。もう我慢できないんじゃないですか？
なるほど。
For Schreiber talked as if it didn't concern him, it wasn't hard to perceive the rage within. There was little doubt that the removal of a single layer of his skin would unleash the rampaging beast he really was.
ならば相手をしてやれ、シュライバー。増票連れを一個軍ほふったところで、マキナは満足などすまい。
それを言うなら、誰が相手でも彼は満足なんかしないでしょ
う。だが大事の前だ。あれに殺されてはたとえこの城内でも面倒になる。K ならそうやすやすと死にはすまい。
His master's words made him hang his head and grin widely, then with a shiver in his arms and shoulders the whole of his body started to boil with an uncontrollable desire.
わかりましたよ。ですが、ハイドリ卿。
無論、試し合いではない。殺し合い。共に加減などケイラはできまい。それで枠が欠けるとなればそれまでのことよ。行くがいい。
ヤボール。
With a dash as quick as his response, the frenzied Albedo left to where the iron Nigredo was. Left alone with her master, the Crimson Rebellion displayed no feelings about her comrades as she continued her iron silence. Self-assertion was pointless. A loyal subject does nothing but what the master orders.
ザミエル。
はっ。
Law for an order was about to come, and regardless of what it was, the woman would bear no question, as she would execute with utmost thoroughness. The state of affairs did not allow her to mess about, so she took up the role of a device meant to complete tasks with optimal efficiency. Even if it was a device that brought only destruction and violence.
第5は K の手で開け。多少無理もあろうが、少々強引に出て構わん。皇族が潜りやすいよう、道を大きくしておけよ。しかるのち、カールの大隊とは遊んでやれ。K のローゲでな。
ヤボール、マインヘル。
With those words and a reverent nod, Rubedo stood up, bowed, and distanced herself from the throne. Then, as if signaled by her leave, the walls, flooring, and ceiling quavered and shook as they started to go after her. It was the cry of those charging into war. An army's worth of souls got torn away from the castle and marched into battlefield under Rubedo's command.
さて、彼女は加減を知らんぞ。芯のない生蔵ならば、溶け落ち砕ける。これが正念場というところかな。
Resting upon his throne, Reinhard smirked as the castle shivered under the weight of his legion, an army numbering in the millions, all alike with craving for dies irae. Oh, and how close it was? Just a little. They all had to wait just a little more. Just a little. And yeah, I was correct. Chapter 8. What's Nachtzerer? I think there was a chapter called like that before. Maybe I'm wrong, but you know. Whatever. It had already gotten bright by the time I reached the city center. At a glance, the morning scenery of the town seemed unchanged from its usual appearance, making the night's events feel like a bad nightmare. However, I knew that was naive sentimentality on my part, nothing more. A bunch of Nazi psychos had most certainly infested my home ground, and all those normal people were in mortal danger despite not even suspecting a thing. If I was in an actual position inside society, I would do all I could to evacuate the place. Unfortunately, I was just an arcade in the eyes of the public, with no part with the people, and had no choice but to grit my teeth and go along with those bastards' war game. The lives of everyone in this town were my chips in this poker game of death, where folding was not an option. I couldn't help wishing to go prostrate and apologize to every single one of the businessmen and jogging students bustling through the morning streets. It might not have been directly my fault, but I was still the one playing with their lives, unbeknownst to them. Even if I won, this feeling of guilt wouldn't fade. Still, this wasn't time to be getting too philosophical. I needed to dedicate all my time to averting the worst possible outcome of this fucked up situation. Forgetting myself in woo is me. Routine wasn't gonna help anyone. I called myself. The first thing I had to do now was learn more about the bastards, and I needed someone to help me on that, regardless of how much I had the idea of it. It seemed like Sharon Hojo knew significantly more about the Obsidian Round Table than I did. Plus, at least according to Father Shifa, they should have still been alive. No doubt hang out at that club of theirs. I had to find them, exchange information and come up with a proper plan before anything unexpected happened again. Time was of the essence. Huh? Mari pulled on my sleeve, urging me to turn around, as I did.
あの人たちはレンとかすみの友達？部屋にかけてあったのと同じ服着てるよ。
Mari pointed at a group of students from my school, at least judging by their uniforms. It was still a bit early for class, so they probably belonged to one of those clubs with morning practice. Clubs? Morning practice? Weren't most of such activities put on hold because of the decapitation murders? There was one idiot who ignored the warnings, but any students with at least a shred of common sense would be holed up in their homes at this hour. Besides, wasn't today Sunday? My own stupidity left me momentarily speechless. How long had I been locked up underground exactly? I never even tried to check how much time I'd spent unconscious since the battle at the bridge.
Mari!
I stopped myself realizing she'd had no conceivable days. Anyway, I gaped at Mari for a few minutes, unable to form sensible words, before figuring out to check my pockets. My phone was gone. I suppose there was little to be surprised about that. I mean, I was captured and locked up in a dungeon, following a long and strenuous battle. If I didn't already found mid-fight, they would have taken it away from me while I was unconscious. I looked around panic and discovered a convenience store nearby. I promptly stormed inside and asked the clerk about the date. God damn it, I'd been unconscious for a whole day! I left the store in a hurry, almost rushing to Mari, who followed me in confusion. And at top speed, there was not a second to waste.
どうして？
Not waiting for an answer, I dashed down the street.
待ってよ。
Yeah, dude, calm down! Before I could get too far, however, she caught me by the sleeve, nearly making me crash on the pavement as I lost my footing. My first thought was to shake her hand off, but then I realized.
一人で行かないで。置いていっちゃ嫌だ。
Exactly. Mari is more important. Should I feel bad about saying that? Because I don't. Right, of course, I couldn't leave her to wander the streets alone. I lost my cool there for a second. Still, it didn't change the fact we had to hurry.
一緒に走るぞ。きついかもしんないけど、ゆっくりしてられない。
大丈夫。私走るの得意だよ。
Huh? I had no idea how long her endurance would last, but in the worst case scenario, I could just carry her in my arms. We were past the point where we could afford minding the eyes of strangers.
行くぞ。
I grabbed Mari by the hand and began my mad dash down the street for real. My heart was jackhammering like a dang fireball. Bell, sorry. Kasumi would run into Sakura and Rusaka if she went to school today, and now that I had established myself as their opposition, that meant mortal danger for her. I had to do everything in my power to protect her.
ちくしょう。
Kinda. I felt dazed at my own hypocrisy. I had been passing countless other students heading to school on my way home. Yet here I was completely ignoring them while only caring about saving Kasumi. She was the only person in school I could still call a friend. Now the humor had basically turned out to be one of them. In a way, Kasumi was now my healer's heel. That was my excuse for prioritizing her above the rest. The other students would be no use to them as hostages, which placed Kasumi in great danger. Still,
クズだ、俺は。
the truth was that I simply devalued human lives. I cared about people whose names I didn't know if the alternative meant losing Kasumi. Mere moments ago, I was pondering the safety of the entire town, and now that I found myself cornered, I abandoned it all in a heartbeat.
くそ、くそ、くそ。
I think I would do the same. I mean, think about it. Do you save, like, a ton of people that you don't know? Or do you save the one person that you really care about? Option 1 versus option 2. Option 2 is the one chosen. In my case, at least. And this game of self-blame was as hypocritical as everything else about me. No matter how much I cried over being a tough choice, I'd never even considered the possibility of sacrificing Kasumi. In which case, I had to stop wallowing in self-pity and stick to my guns like a man.
泣かないで。
I was crying, but I'm at you if you keep that up, so please stop trolling me, I beg you.
レンは正直だね。
Mary gave my hand a firm but gentle squeeze. Just a while ago, she was goofing around like a kid, yet now she consoled me. Something really had happened to her.
大丈夫だよ。私がついてる。
Right now, for her abrupt change in personality ended up helping me out.
だから怖くないよ。一緒だよ。
She was right, I could depend on her now.
マリ、全部終わったら。
When everything's over, let's go eat that crazy parfait again. And it would be even better if Kasumi, Himuro, Shiro, Honjo could join us as well. No one should be able to blame me for hoping for such future. Let's hope for such future and see if it will come true. But not in this episode because it came to an end. So for now, hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see if Kasumi is coming in the next one. Bye bye.